you're feeding animals and cutting dogs' nuts off. You know what I mean? Cool things like that.
That's the life. Yeah.
Animals should just like every charitable thing I think has to be based around work.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I'm really focused on. I've really changed my outlook on charity,
Interesting.
Giving things away can really destroy families, just like how a lot of pro sports players, they kind of lose everything. I've watched a lot of like case studies on that, and how it's destroyed families. Mothers don't talk to kids anymore. Like, oh, like it just, that whole greed comes in.
Yeah. Is this something that you realized through charity? And then the second thing is that why you're now focused on more helping people fish, like build businesses than just giving away money?
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, at the same time too, it's like doing those videos. I kind of want to get back to doing more. I abandoned my TikTok and kind of let that go to hell, but I need to get back and create more content, because it is those videos that raise a lot of the money to be able to do this kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, and it doesn't have to be about just giving away money. I got really burned out when my daughter was born, and I was just like going through, like, my wife had like postpartum depression and stuff that you don't see on people's social media, right? It was really hard, and I went and filmed I probably have like 20 things I filmed on my phone that I just never like edited or uploaded, because I'm just like going through this, like that internal battle, right? Of like, I want to do meaningful things. I don't want to just like hand out money or like, look what I'm doing, but there's really cool stuff, like for example, we did a thing where I just like stood in the corner and I had a camera guy film it. And this is why I didn't upload it, because he was filming me do it. And I'm just like, I don't need to do that. Like I always film everything where I'm like, the camera is the point of view, but it was really cool. It was like, it was a poor area of Awachapan by the border, the poor city. And it was like a lady there. I was like, and we're in front of this like store that sells like fridges, stoves, beds, bikes, like one of those stores. And I was like, what do you want from here? And I was like, if you could pick anything from here, what would it be? Like, just, playing around with her. And she's like, oh, I don't have a bed. My mom, really poor people. My mom, she sleeps on like a cardboard. And I was like, come here. And I was like, here's your bed. I was like, give her the nicest bed. And the store people were like, oh, hell yeah. Here you go. Here's your nicest bed. And now before you leave, before you're able to take this, you have to find one person in the streets. And I was like, you believe in God? I was like, ask God right now to bring you to the right person. And then, but it was such a crazy, like, and I even stopped filming it. And it was so wild. Like, this lady was like, I didn't have a fridge. And I was like praying to not have a fridge. Like these little tiny, I love this kind of content. But the only reason I didn't like it, because he was like really focused on me and not focused on them. Like they're kind of like crying, and he just has the camera pointed at me. And I was like, I hate this video now. But the experience was awesome. And it just needed to have the camera at the person and not me. Like, look what I'm doing. Because it doesn't come from my pockets. It comes from people donating,
So that's interesting. Can we, I got so many questions here. We've gone everywhere with this conversation, but I'm really interested in the creative process. And like, you as a content creator, do you go back and see some of your old content and just cringe at it and just learn?
Some of it, it depends on my mood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It just depends on your mood, but for the most part, I'm grateful, because even the cringiest of the videos is the whole reason that I'm doing what I'm doing now. And maybe that's kind of where I was going with before, where I had that big event that just totally failed. It's like sometimes we do things and it's just things that'll teach us to be able to get to another point. You know what I mean? And I think it's kind of dangerous too sometimes with religion is like, oh, don't do that. Don't hang out with that person. Don't, like, we're so scared for someone to quote unquote sin. But if it wasn't for that person, partaking of the apple, is the whole purpose of coming here is to learn and to grow. And I think making mistakes is how we gain wisdom. You know what I mean?
So you started by giving people money and like building people houses, and now it sounds like you've kind of transitioned into building microeconomies. Would you say that was another lesson you learned along the way?
Yeah, basically.
What I was trying to mention earlier is there's two lanes of trust that you've developed. One is with you, like Aaron's not going to steal the money. And the second is what you're doing with the money is worthwhile. I mean, so much that people keep donating the money. Do you say there's a difference in the way people give money when you're just, hey, I'm going to build this person a house, i.e. give them money, versus, no, we're going to build a hotel and restaurant. We're going to build a quad motorcycle business for these people in Oaxaca. Like, is there a perception difference here in the way your donors view what you're doing or how you view it?
I think like every foundation has their own following. You know what I mean? And it has to do with the person who's following it has had their own experiences. You know, some people might have went through homelessness, and so they really like, wow, they got a home. That's the most beautiful thing. Another person might have went through like addiction. So there's foundations that help people who are drug addicts in the streets, and then they clean them up. Those, you know what I mean? They have their own different, you know. So I think in life, everyone has to find their own thing to find their tithing, to give their tithing, because tithing is a very important concept, you know, and that's kind of where I think, back on the Bitcoin thing or government here, it's like the idea of communism sounds really cool. Everyone eats, everyone, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
they
it's,
don't.
yeah,
But then they don't eat.
but they don't eat, you know? It's like every diet works, you know? You can follow really healthy vegan diets, I guess, if you really just get all the supplementation and eat enough, you know? And then other people, you know, you can eat, and I've done like every diet, you know, I'll look back and I did a like carnivore diet for like 6 months. I felt equally amazing. You know, a lot of my red inflammation went away, but it's just about how you do it, you know? So yeah, you can go on a keto diet and just eat bacon and the like really bad fats, you know what I mean? So it all comes back down to like the moral of every system. You have to have that moral code because it can get dirty really quick. I think I'm off subject. You know, I don't remember what we're talking about.
It's all good, man.
You know?
Yeah.
I first started though, we were kind of chatting about like for me was I got to Bogota. So I went sober. It's kind of a wild pre-story. I went sober, right? After I hit my rock bottom. And I did this thing where I called myself the shitty vegan. Because I'm going vegan, not because about the animals, but I want to have an equal energy that I used to put into partying. Because 7 days a week parties, you know? So I went vegan and I juiced every single day. And I found a deer in the forest, a baby deer that the mom abandoned or got ran over. So I had this deer living with me that I kept in
Bogota?
No, this is in the States.
Oh.
I had a deer that I kept in a German Shepherd dog. It was wild. And so I'm vegan, juicing kind of before. And I had this deer. And every week I would take a picture of me holding my baby deer and the deer would get bigger. So the deer was all big and I'm just getting kind of shredded from this vegan.
How long did you have the deer?
I mean 2018.
No, but for years?
About a year.
You had a pet deer for a year?
And then I drove her to Washington in a car. It was bad, dude. We stopped in Idaho and the deer escaped at a gas station. She was so trained though. She was she watches Netflix. She would go to parties with me. So she wasn't afraid of raves, dude.
I've never heard of a domestic deer. Have you? I've never heard of a deer being domesticated.
Super domesticated, dude. Potty trained her. She would
give her a dish, a bowl of food.
Yeah, dude, if I scroll on the bottom of my Instagram, you'll see all the pictures of the deer. Because before that, when I was partying, I had a goat.
That's more normal. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a pygmy goat, and the goat was demonic, I think. The goat got stolen by a witch, dude. I'm afraid to mention who she is, but she manages all these celebrities like Miley Cyrus. Everyone's animals, you know, and she's way into witchy stuff.
She stole your pygmy goat.
She wanted my goat because she's this goat has a bunch of spirit. She's a powerful goat.
Oh my god,
it was wild,
this story
dude.
is fucking crazy.
Yeah, so she got rid of the goat. Anyway, the deer came in, but now I'm the sober face. This is a deer now, you know.
Well, I guess we should be glad life pointed you in a certain direction because it sounds like you could have built a big following from having a pet deer as well. You
Dude,
could be
my original Murphslife content was I was living with just a group of strippers and people
and a deer.
Oh, this is before that, dude. This is the goat face, dude. And it was just